The Aeolian Islands, 7 beauties in the Tyrrhenian Sea. Lovely green hills, bubbling craters, barren rocky landscapes, soils that make it possible to grow wine but also harbor rich deposits of sulfur, pumice and kaolin, plus a pleasant Mediterranean climate. The islands Lipari, Salina, Volcano, Stromboli, Filicudi, Alicudi and Panarea have a lot to offer, and each island has its own flair. The islands off the north coast of Sicily were already mentioned in Greek mythology and are also known as the Aeolian Islands after Äolus, the Greek god of the winds. After the end of the Trojan War, on his way back home to Ithaca, Odysseus is said to have been stranded on the Aeolian Islands, where he was warmly welcomed by Äolus. To ensure Odysseus a safe onward journey, Äolus presented him a bag containing all the winds, and he stirred up a gentle westerly wind to guide Odysseus and his crew home. His companions, who thought the god had secretly given Odysseus a fortune in gold and silver, ignored the god's explicit instructions and opened the bag while Odysseus was sleeping. Almost in sight of Ithaca, the now unleashed winds pushed them back to Äolus. Angered and certain that the gods hated Odysseus and that they wished to do him harm, Äolus refused the Greeks' request for further assistance and sent them away. And so, the Odyssey took its course. The islands, which were formed by volcanic activity around 1 million years ago to around 90,000 years ago, have rich deposits of obsidian, which was already highly sought after in the Neolithic period, around 4000 BC, for the manufacture of cutting tools and blades, and led to the first colonization of the islands. Ceramic artifacts and circular buildings indicate an early Sicilian culture, and Lipari was probably already one of the largest cities in the Tyrrhenian region around 3000 BC, and was one of the largest trading centers in the entire Mediterranean. The eventful history of the islands was also determined by the colonization and rule of the Greeks from around 600 BC, followed by the Carthaginians and Romans. The Romans celebrated their bathing culture by utilizing the sulfurous waters of the islands to build spas and thermal baths for wealthy citizens of the empire. The Arabs later ruled and were followed by the Normans in the 11th century. In 1544, the Ottomans finally conquered the islands and deported almost the entire population into slavery. In the 17th century, the islands were repopulated under the care of the Catholic Church, and trade with Sicily and the Italian mainland, which acquired fish, wine, ceramics and pumice stone, led to an economic boom. In 1888, the eruption of volcano destroyed the economic basis of many islanders, with the result that over a third of the population emigrated to America and Australia between 1900 and 1950. During the fascist era, the islands served as an exile destination for anti-fascists, and it was only after Roberto Rossellini brought the film Stromboli to cinema in 1949 that interest in the Aeolian Islands was revived and tourism became the new and now most important economic sector. The crystal clear bays and the sometimes stormy winds of the Tyrrhenian Sea make this region, which is home to around 14,000 inhabitants, an excellent sailing area. Lipari, the largest of the islands at 37.5 square kilometers, is also the administrative center. Only Salina, the second largest island at 26.8 square kilometers, has its own administration. Lipari is a port of call for ferries from Milazzo, Palermo, and Naples, and has a good tourist infrastructure and several beaches. The interior of Lipari is mountainous and barren, with the hills reaching a height of around 600 meters and being covered in dense bushes. In the north, you can visit the remains of a thermal bath that was in operation more than 3,500 years ago. Ruins from the Bronze Age and from Greek and Roman antiquity have also been preserved, as well as a cathedral once built by the Normans and rebuilt in Baroque style after being destroyed in the 16th century. The island of Salina to the north of Lipari, on the other hand, is green and fertile, and the wine, capers, and olives grown there from the Malvasia di Lipari grape variety are important trade goods, as tourism plays a rather minor role here. Many privately chartered boats are anchored in the marina of Salina, and there are many good restaurants in the village of Santa Marina, where you can round off a lovely day's holiday with good food. Panarea, the smallest of the islands at 3.4 square kilometers, lies in the northeast, and its charmingly restored main village of San Pietro has become a popular holiday destination for the rich and famous from the north of Italy. Not surprisingly, even Princess Diana liked to spend her holidays there, anchored off the coast. If you don't want to pay 20 euros for a cappuccino or the expensive accommodation prices, or prefer absolute solitude, the islands of Filicudi and Alicudi to the west are the place for you. There are only a few hundred inhabitants and very few overnight accommodations, but maybe most surprisingly, there are no roads on Alicudi. However, thousands of years of human settlement and cultivation have given rise to an astonishing island flora and, in addition to the well-known macchia plants such as broom, wormwood, euphorbia and heather, many culinary and medicinal herbs and caper bushes thrive here. Pine, carob, fig, almond and olive trees complete the plant diversity. The fauna consists mainly of migratory birds and marine animals, in addition to the introduced domestic species. Some islands are home to endemic animal species, for example, the Aeolian wall lizard on Stromboli. At 12.6 square kilometers, Stromboli is the fourth largest island in the group and actually consists of just one volcano, the only permanently active volcano in Europe. 900 meters high, Stromboli, with its frequently smoking crater, has been an impressive sight for arriving sailors for centuries. Nowadays, many visitors brave the arduous climb to the crater rim to get as close as possible to the lava flows flowing down the Schiara del Fuoco. But a walk along its black beaches with a view of the sea and incoming boats also has its own special charm. In the village of Ginostra, the Bulgari clan enjoys the comforts of their own villa and the rugged beauty that has always mesmerized visitors here. Finally, in the far south lies Volcano, the third largest island in the archipelago at 21.2 square kilometers, which has a very special flair. Small clouds of smoke rising from the green slopes, palm trees and beautiful vegetation, plus marvelous views of the surrounding sea. Volcano is definitely worth a visit. With these last atmospheric pictures, we bid farewell to the Aeolian Islands. We hope you enjoyed our journey and we wish you a wonderful time. See you next time!